welcome to the OklaRoots YouTube channel. In today's tutorial, we're going to switch it up just a little bit. We're actually going to be doing some no-sew projects. No sewing machine required. Today, we're actually going to go through two different no-sew projects. They are both free patterns, and they both come to us from Country Cow Designs. And you guys, they're adorable. Today, we're going to be making the fold-up tray. Ooh, and the mini basket. So these are so fun. I don't know about you guys, but I am swamped this summer. I mean, I live in the swamps here in Florida, but I'm actually swamped. I have very little time to craft, especially just for fun. So these little buggers are the best fun little crafty project that's useful, that kids can join in on, that you can put in your sewing room. I just love them. And the fact that it's a free pattern, I mean, I love that. We all know I love a free pattern. So let's go through these one by one. First, we have the little fold-up tray. This is a very basic, you see it's like a little square. You have rivets on the sides. Templates for all of this are included in the patterns. You can just print it out, trace it out, very easy peasy. You can get very creative with these too. So for this first fold-up tray here, let me show you it with some stuff in it. These are some little clippy labels that we're gonna have in the shop pretty soon. So I've been putting those in my little tray here. You see, look how cute that is, so sweet. So for this first one here, I did use leather. This is just a really pretty shiny leather. I did not use any sort of a lining, and I used rivets. Today we're gonna have a little bit more fun with this. We're actually gonna use a cork for the exterior, and we're gonna use a super sparkly heat transfer vinyl for the lining, so that way you have something fun on the inside. And we're gonna use some really unique, cute little rivets on the sides. The other project we'll be doing today is the mini basket, which I mean, here's the thing. Here, I got a whole bunch of my little plastic clover clips here. If you have a friend who just started sewing and you're like, I want to gift you some little goodies, maybe a little fat quarter bundle, maybe, a couple needles, some thread, things like that. They just started and you want to encourage them and give them a little gift. How cute is this? You could give them a little basket with some little clips in it. You could put some little spools of thread in here. I just think this is so fun. So on this basket here, we actually used a leather, which is very pretty. This was gifted to me from my friend. A leather on the exterior, and then for the inside, I actually used a lightweight vinyl. And all I did was use some Beacon 3-in-1 glue. I glued all over the leather. I slapped the vinyl, wrong sides together with the leather, let it dry, and then riveted it together. In today's tutorial, we're gonna use a lightweight vinyl, and we're gonna use super sparkly heat transfer vinyl for the inside. But this time, I'm gonna try this. We're actually gonna try using some plastic snaps for every place where the rivets go, because I think that could be a fun activity for the kiddos. So in today's tutorial, I will be using my handy dandy heavy duty rivet press. I love this guy so much. If you guys have seen my rivet press video, we go in depth a lot. Actually, if you've seen that rivet press video, Cam Snaps, which is where I buy all things rivets from, they actually have an OklaRoots bundle, which is just mind-blowing to me. It's mind-blowing. You get the pink rivet press and all the dies that I talk about in that rivet press video. It's a whole bundle, as well as rivet snaps, things to go with those dies. You get it all lumped in, and there is a discount. So if you guys are interested in that, go check it out. I do have an affiliate link for that. I'll have it down in the description of this video, which means I do receive a commission for the sales on that, and that all goes straight back to the channel to provide more awesome videos. But I thought that was, it's one of my favorite companies, and they sell my favorite products, and now OklaRoots is on their website. That's just so cool. That's just so cool. So if you're interested in that, go grab it. However, you don't have to have this giant rivet press if you want to do these projects. I don't want anybody to think, well, that would be fun, except I don't have that and I don't want to get a giant rivet press. You can still do these projects, okay? For example, if you're not ready for this big guy, but you don't want the plastic tools, or you don't want to use the hammer which you can, there's you can hammer down rivets, and there are plastic tools that will get the job done mostly. It might be more work than it's worth, but if you're kind of in the middle there, where you're like, well, I'm not ready for that, but I'm past that, this is the tool you want to get. This tool right here. This is a rivet press. This is also from Cam Snaps. This is considered a table press because you can see there's little holes here. You could mount this down. You could screw it down on a piece of wood and hold it onto the table. It's very heavy duty. I don't have it mounted. I use it like this, like a hand press. Highly recommend this one. Takes up a lot less space, more affordable than the big guy, but this uses all the same dies as this one. So if you wanted to get the dies in this hand press and start here, and then later you're like, man, you know, I really want to upgrade to the big guy, you can, and you don't have to buy all the extra dies. You see what I'm saying? You can, this is a family here. Everything's going to work together. So I use this, and I have the third one over there. I use all of them all the time. So thank you so much to Country Cow Designs for allowing me to use your patterns in my channel. You guys, you got to go check out their website. There's, if you like roundy, really polished, professional looking bags, you gotta go check out their channel. We're gonna be putting more of those really professional, fancy looking bags on the channel very soon. We gotta get past summer because right now I have very limited time to craft. So once we get back into, you know, the kids are back at school, we'll be bringing those bags back to the channel. So stay tuned. You're gonna love it. Just go check them out. You're gonna love them. If you're new to the OklaRoots YouTube channel, please consider clicking subscribe down below. If at any point you like this video, please give it a like. Any questions, comments, shoutouts, pattern suggestions, tips, tricks, let me know if you're gonna switch this up. Like, these are projects where you can get very creative. I mean, if you have an embroidery machine, if you want to use heat transfer vinyl and you cut out like a monogram or something to put, oh, that would be pretty. If you have like a wedding coming up, that would be cute, wouldn't it? Because this could be like a catch-all tray, like a bathroom ring jewelry tray, you know? You could line this and then do a monogram with the person's, you know, initials on it. You could put their name on it, something inspiring. There's so many things you could do with this. So whatever you guys do with this pattern, let me know. I want to make a bunch of these. I want to make some. I'm excited to make a couple more today. There will be timestamps for every part of this video. They'll be listed right along the bottom of the screen as well as in the description. So just click that little triangle over here. It should drop down the description. That's also where you're going to find links for everything, like the rivet press bundle, any material I'm using, anything like that. If there's something you're looking for a link for and I don't have it listed, just leave a comment and I will grab it for you. All right, guys, let's get started. All right, so here's all the stuff. Not a whole lot really, as long as you have the press and the dies. So let's go through that. I'm gonna be using a few of the different dies from the bundle that you can get from Cam Snaps. So for the first project, we're gonna do the fold-up tray. Now that's this little tray right here. You see it has nice little clips on the side. For that, we're going to be using a piece of cork for the exterior, and then look at this, This is heat transfer vinyl, meaning this white part back here, this is gonna turn into glue when it heats up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to glue this to the back of my cork, and then I'm going to make the tray per the pattern. For the little rivets that hold the little pinch sides over here together, I'm actually gonna use these really cute little mouse head rivets. I don't know if you can see them, but they're like little mouse heads. They're so sweet. One side looks like this. The other side is just a basic teeny tiny rivet. When you're applying these, you do need to be a little strategic about it. You don't want to use a regular rivet top and bottom die because what happens is these little ears will end up bending and snapping off, which is tragic. So what I do is I have a scrap piece of foam here, and then I have the key fob bottom die. So the key fob die set is bottom and top that look like this, little rectangles. And what it does is it smushes down key fobs and flattens them out really nicely. However, this is also a really great multi-purpose tool, especially if you get these fancy rivets that are not a good round shape, they're flat. So what you do is you put this on the bottom, you put a piece of foam over it, and then you put this little rivet on the bottom like that, and when you press it in, this will protect that rivet from scratching. The foam will protect it from it, and it also won't bend. So we'll go through that in detail, but I wanted to show you. I'm using a top die, which is a 10mm rivet die, which is more than enough. It just needs to go with this little sucker here. So whatever size is this one or bigger is gonna be fine. And then the bottom die is going to be the key fob die. So that's project number one. Again, you can use either of these rivet presses for this, or you could even use the hammer press. They have like a little round disc. I haven't used it in so long. You could use that if you're just starting out and you want to try it out. I do suggest though, if you like it, you like the look of it, you think you're going to be using it more, upgrade to one of these two presses. And then for the second project, we're going to make that adorable little basket. Now you can see the basket has a few more spots here. This one actually has 5 rivets. But what I want to try is not using rivets. What I want to try is using these plastic cam snaps. Because I think what would be fun with this is if you were doing this with some kiddos, you could let them pick out the exterior. So you can see here I have my exterior is this really fun lightweight vinyl. And then for the lining, I'm doing this heat transfer vinyl, super glittery. We'll just heat it on and put it to the back of our vinyl. Let them pick out the material, let them pick out the snaps. You install it because we do have some pokey things here. I would suggest a stiletto or an awl to go with this. And what you can do is you can set it all up. We're gonna install the snaps on each piece and then let them snap it together. We'll see. It's an idea I haven't tried yet, so let's try it together. So like I said, for the basket, you're going to have 2 cuts here. You just trace it out, cut it out. This also has the marks for where you need to put holes if you're going to be using a hole punch. Speaking of hole punches, you could use this hole punch tool right here. This is a great hole punching tool if you have to get into like really tight little areas that you can't get in with your rivet press. But you could also get the hole punch die, which does come in the bundle. You could use the hole punch die to punch the holes, especially for the rivets. I don't suggest punching holes out for the plastic snaps. And since we're using the plastic snaps, we do need the plastic snap die set, and it looks just like this, just little plastic pieces. These are very, not squishy, but they're much more gentle than metal die sets are, and they're not gonna break your plastic snaps. All right, let's start making something. So the first thing I wanna do is adhere my heat transfer vinyl to the back of my material. So I'm gonna do this for both of the projects today. You definitely do not have to do that. You can leave this raw. It's meant to be raw in the pattern, especially if you have like a thicker piece of leather or something like that. Definitely you can just leave it raw. I like to add some color and sparkle at every opportunity, so I'm going to be using the heat transfer vinyl. Heat transfer vinyl is very, very simple. You do not have to have any sort of a cutting machine in order to cut this out. All I did was use the pattern piece, trace it, cut it with scissors just like normal. So it's very, very easy to use. You could also use a lightweight piece of vinyl, cork, something like that, and then just glue it on. You could use quilled cotton. Just remember that you will have raw edges all around both of these projects. So if the quilled cotton or the material you're using can fray, it will eventually start fraying around it. That could be a cool look. Actually, another cool item if you did like the frayed look would be using jeans. If you have like some jean material, that would be a really neat thing to use for this project. So when I'm adhering heat transfer vinyl like this, I do prefer to use my Cricut Easy Press. I have like a bigger Cricut iron. It's like the shape of a square, and it's nice and heavy, and it's an iron, and you just plop it down on top, and it's perfect for this. But I have seemed to misplace it, so I can't find that to show you today, sadly. So we're gonna use a regular iron. This iron will be fine. It's just, it's smaller, and it doesn't get quite as hot as I would prefer it to get for this project, but I'm going to cover my heat transfer vinyl with a scrap piece of material. I would do this no matter what, even if I'm using like a big fancy heat press. I'm going to cover that up, and then I'm just going to press this down. You want to count to about 20 to 30 seconds for each spot. This is why using that bigger press is quicker, because you just do it once, and then you're done. The bigger press even has a timer on it, which is nice. I wish I could find it. So I'm just gonna go section by section, pressing down the iron. I am putting some force down on it. I'm not just letting it sit there, I'm pushing it down. Just for, like I said, about 20 to 30 seconds in each spot. Just making sure you get it adhered perfectly. And when I'm doing this, I am using a dry iron, no steam. So let me just check on it. I'm gonna pull this up. Just kind of check to see if it's sticking. Nope, that's not stuck. The corners are the most important part. It's all important, but the edges and the corners are definitely the most important. Those need to stay together. So I will keep pressing. Okay, so this is nice and hot. I'm gonna actually let this cool down before I pull off the plastic. I found that I can pull the plastic off when it's warm or when it's cool, and it's gonna be fine either way. Since I have my iron all heated up, I'm gonna go ahead and apply the heat transfer vinyl to the little mini basket as well. So again, they're wrong sides together. Heat transfer vinyl usually has a like plasticky coating on the top. At least the glitter one does. They're all different. So I'm just making it sure that the glue side, which is the more matte side, is down. Wrong sides together with the vinyl. There we go. This one has a little bit more nooks and crannies. Just do your best to get it lined up. Doesn't have to be perfect. It'll still look great. And now let's adhere this. All right, let's grab the first one. This one's cooled off. Let's remove that plastic from it. There we go. That looks nice. And once I remove the plastic, I am not a Cricut person. I don't know all the ins and outs of this, but this is what I do. Once I remove that plastic, I cover it again with quilt cotton, and I just go over it briefly, about 10 seconds in each spot, one more time, just to make sure it's really glued down. Are you supposed to do this? I don't know. but it works with the glitter material that I'm using. I'm using Glitter Flex. I'll have a link for it down below. All right, I'm gonna put this to the side. I'm gonna repeat that with this piece over here. Just make sure everything, oops, see, this is not adhered right here. I gotta iron that for a little bit longer. Okay, I got it fully adhered, and I'm just going to pull off the plastic coating. Look at how sparkly that is. Isn't that fun? And then once again, I'm going to cover it up with my scrap fabric and just give it a quick press just to make sure all the glue's melted. Okay, we are done with the iron. Let's set that to the side. And let's put our basket template to the side as well, since we're gonna just work on the tray first. Okay, so with the tray, you have these little dots on your template to let you know where you should punch your holes. So that's what I'm gonna use. I'm gonna use it on the cork side here. Actually, let's do one more thing before we move on. Let's just clean this up. You can see some of the heat transfer vinyl is overhanging on the edges. So I am going to just trim that down. I'm more concerned about trimming off the edges of the heat transfer vinyl rather than trimming off the edges of the cork. I don't want to cut the cork. Even if the cork is overhanging a little bit on the inside, I don't want to cut my cork, because then you're going to start you're going to cut one side, cut the other side. Have you ever tried to cut bangs and you know one side you cut, you think it's straight, but then one side's a little bit shorter, so you cut the other side a little bit shorter, and then you end up and it's not good. That's how it is here. We're just going to stick to one side. We're just going to trim off any overhang from the heat transfer vinyl. That's it. There we go. So it's nice and clean looking on the exterior. That's what we want. So now, using any sort of marking tool that you choose, let's line our template up over the exterior material. And you can see I punched out little holes. I just used my stiletto and I poked little holes through all of the circles that are on there, so that way I can just stick my pen in those little pokey holes and mark where I need to punch the holes out. So there's a total of 8 of these. Go around, making sure you got them, lift it up, make sure you can see. Yep, 2, 2, 2, 2, there we go, perfect. So now I'm gonna grab my other cam snap press. I know I have a lot, I'm a collector, but this one has my hole punching die on it, and I pretty much just leave the hole punching die on this. You don't need to, you can switch out your dies, you don't have to have 2 presses, but it's easier for me because I do this a lot. So I'm gonna take this, and now I'm going to use my hole punch, and I'm just gonna punch out the holes where I marked. So like I said, I have 8, I'm just gonna go slowly all the way around. Okay, and if they didn't come all the way out, you can always grab your stiletto and punch them out. And if they're really stubborn, just press it again with your hole punch. So now I'm going to switch this out and use my pink rivet press, and I'm going to insert the right dies. This is the bottom die for the key fob. That goes on the bottom. And then I have a 10mm rivet die for the top die. There we go. And now these little head rivets can be a little tricky because they don't snap closed so well. You have to kind of hold them. So what we're going to do is we're going to pinch our material, lining sides together, just like that, matching up 2 of the holes. Push one end of the rivet in, grab the cap, and just do your best to kind of snap it in place. I find for me it does not like to snap in place, but I do my best. All right, let's give this a shot. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our scrap piece of foam, and we're gonna lay that on top of the bottom die, and make sure that the detailed rivet, so for me it's a mouse head, it could be anything, but make sure that is down on top of the foam, and then the circular rivet section is up towards the top die. Line it up carefully, and then press it down nice and firm. There we go. That looks good. So now I'm going to do the rest of them. I'm going to once again, and if you want, you can try to turn. It's pretty hard to turn it once it's pressed in. So if you want to get your design lined up a certain way, make sure you think about that. I'm not that picky. So I'm going to take my tray, press it lining sides together, grab the rivet with the stem. And if you have a specific place you want it, I think I'm going to have the heads on the same side. And then grab the cap, put that down, and then lay it. The hardest part is getting it to stay together before you press it. So I'm just going to lay it on my foam, get it underneath the top die, press down nice and firm. There we go. All right, 2 more. These are so cute. This comes together so quickly. And if you're using just regular rivets, they snap. Regular rivets will snap together when you put the male and the female ends together. They'll just snap, and then you don't have to worry about holding it in place. It's a lot easier, but these sure are fun. All right, carefully holding it together. The thing is if you kind of lose control over it and they don't line up perfectly, the stem on the male end is going to bend, and then it's just kind of a mess. There we go. So I think this one actually did bend a little bit. You can see one side, here's the rivet part, here's the head part. It does look like it might have bent a little bit, but in this project it's actually okay. So I'm just gonna do the last one here. There we go. How cute is that? Oh, what a fun little tray. So our adorable little tray is done. I love the little accents. This would be so cute. Like I said, if you wanted to add like a name or a monogram or something inspirational on the inside here, that's a great thing to do. This is another one of those great projects to do with kids. You know, if you've got Father's Day, Mother's Day, a birthday coming up, I don't know, personalizing things is why we do crafty stuff, right? Because we can make it personal and we can make it meaningful. It's not just something we picked up off the shelf at a store, you know, it's something that we put our love into, but it doesn't have to take you all day to make it. So this little tray, highly recommend. 2 thumbs up, give it a try. So now let's go over the little mini basket. I'm excited about this one. This one is very new to me, so we're gonna see if this idea works. It might fail. So first thing we want to do is make sure you grab some sort of a pokey thing, poke out the holes. So where the circles are, just poke out the center of those. Lay it on top of your material. I'm laying it on the vinyl because it's easier for me to see on that side. There we go. Use some sort of a marking tool and mark where each one of those holes is supposed to go. All right. It's a little bit hard to see because I have silver pen on super sparkly material, but that's okay. So I'm looking at this. I don't think I have any edges I really need to worry about trimming down. Everything looks like it's nice and neat, so I'm just gonna leave that. Don't have to clean it up. And now if you're using rivets, you're gonna grab your hole punch and you're gonna punch a hole just like we did on the tray in every single one of these dots. I'm not using rivets, I'm using these snaps, and these snaps work best with the smallest hole possible. So I'm actually just using my little stiletto here, and I'm going to carefully poke a hole through the material where each of those dots are. Carefully. This thing is sharp. Okay, so each pair needs to be coming together in some way, right? So we're gonna have these 4 pairs, and then the last pair is the little loop that goes on the top. When these 4 come together, they're going to go over each other like that. The little rounded area is gonna go over the exterior on the adjacent corner, just like that. So if you're riveting this, you just line up the holes, press in the rivet, bada bing, bada boom. However, I want to make it a little bit more difficult. I want to use snaps here, which means I'm going to have a snap, a separate snap on each piece. So the one thing you have to pay attention to with the snaps is which side does the connection need to go and which side does the, you know, pretty part need to go. Let's go through this. So I think these pink ones will work really well. So what I want are caps and then male and female ends for each section. So I need 2 caps for each little section and a male and a female end. So let's see. Here we go. I've got a butterfly cap and then just a regular circle cap. And then I have a male and a female end. So there's one corner. I'm going to do the same thing on the other corners. And like I said, this is a fun one to do with the kiddos because then they can pick out, especially if this fun assortment, these all have different shapes, hearts, and just regular ones and butterflies, so many things. They can pick out the set they want to go on. Just make sure each corner here, I'm not worried about the long bits yet, we'll do that later. Right now I'm just worried about the corners. Each corner needs 2 caps, whatever designs, and a male and a female combo here. So I'm just gonna kind of separate all this out so I can work on one corner at a time. For this one, I'm going to use the little handheld press just to show you how easy this is. And I have the associated dies for the plastic snaps. Remember, don't use the metal dies for plastic snaps. You don't want them to break. Okay, so let's start with this corner right here. I'm gonna have the butterfly cap go on the exterior of the rounded nub here. You like my terms for things? So when this comes around, it's going to wrap around like that. So I'm gonna orient my butterfly so that it's just like that. And I'm going to have the male end go on the cap. So I can just push it on, it holds it together. And now I'm gonna flip this so the cap is down on the bottom die And the male end of my snap is up towards the top die. I'm just going to push it down. And lift it up. And there we go. Our butterfly's on there. So now let's do the other side. So remember, this snap part is going to snap in over here. So don't put your cap for this corner bit on the exterior material. You want the cap to go on the lining material. Okay. Carefully poke it through your hole. There we go. And then the female end of the snap is going to go on the exterior side. See? So that way when this snaps together, it snaps properly. Okay? I can't tell you how many times I've done these and I've put them on the wrong side and I'm like, why isn't it snapping? Oh dear. So once again, cap goes on the bottom die. The snap part goes on the top die. Sometimes I like to just lift it up. It's easier. Press together. All right, so when we test it out, there we go. It'll snap together just like that. Isn't that cute? And this is something, that way you do it for all the pieces, and then you have the kiddos snap it all together. And it's kind of like one of those like busy toys too, you know, if they're fidgety, they can just kind of play with the snaps and work on that. So let's go through the rest of it. So next corner, I always like to kind of get a visual. I'm going to wrap it around to see. There we go. So I'm going to grab my little butterfly, make sure it's oriented in the right direction. It really doesn't matter, but I want it to be upright, just like that. And then once again, I'm going to grab the male end to go on that side and just press this together. And then for the corner part next to the snap I'm working on, the cap goes on the lining side, and then the female snap goes on the exterior side, and we press together. All right, I always like to just test it out just to make sure everything's good. Yeah, it's looking good. All right, let's continue on with the other two corners. Insert my butterfly cap and the male snap. And then the lining cap and the female snap. And then the last corner, just put on the butterfly. Oh, this is so fun. I'm just having a good time doing this. And then the male end. Bada bing, bada boom. Place it together. And then the lining side. And the female end. There we go. All right, now I'm just going to quickly try it all out to see how it looks. Make sure I didn't make any mistakes anywhere. Oh yeah, so cute. So cute. So now we just have to do the last snap, which is going to go up here. And I think for that one, I'm going to switch it up just a little bit. I really want to do a yellow one. I'm going to do a yellow star. And you can do the decorative caps on both sides. You don't have to use a regular cap on one side and a decorative one on the other side. You can use decorative on both sides. That's up to you. So for this one, I'm going to put the star through the exterior of one. Oh, I don't have a male end. I'm going to grab the male part of the snap and just press this in place. And then again, remember, when this snaps shut, it's not going to snap like that. So the female end, or whatever opposite end you're using, it needs to go on the exterior, and the cap for the other one needs to go on the lining. There we go. Press that. Okay, now let's just snap it together. Oh, how cute is that? That's so fun and smart. Oh, I love this. I love the snaps. Yay, I'm so glad that worked out. I was kind of worried. All right, what do you think? I love it. I'm so glad we did the heat transfer vinyl on the lining. It needed it. It did. It needed it. Like these are cute, but the heat transfer vinyl, it just gives you beautiful lining with without any work, any sewing, anything like that. I think these are so fun. Could you make this with quilt cotton? Yes, you could. Maybe we'll go over that one day, but you could definitely cut out 2 pieces of this material, especially for the tray, and sew them right sides together, flip them right side out, top stitch around the ends, and then add the rivets. You could do that, but we're going for quick and easy here. We're going for quick, easy, and stinking adorable. Isn't that fun? And I love this little basket. I love that we can just unsnap the whole thing. It's like a little puzzle for little fingers. You know what I mean? You can give it to them completely unsnapped and then say, hey, figure out how to turn this into a basket. So I hope that you have as much fun making these as I do. If you switch it up, if you make them, let me know. I want to see your version. If you decide to use snaps, magnetic snaps, maybe you decided to like have the kids paint it first, let me know. And let me know how you're using them, because I think that these are super fun as little, you know, decorations, little gifts, but especially when we get into the holidays, wouldn't this be fun as like a little like place setting? You know, you could put like, especially I know I keep saying for kids, but it's because these are just so cute. They're just like, I'm just imagining these little baskets and like little tiny fingers and little hands. Oh, it'd be so sweet. But you could put like little toys at Christmas time. You know, you could put little goodies in it at Thanksgiving, and then it gives the kids something to do at the table. I don't know. I just feel like there's so much fun stuff you can do with this, and I want to know. I want to know what you're doing with it. So let me know. Let me know if you make these. Thank you so much again to Country Cow for allowing me to use your patterns in my tutorials. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Have a great rest of your week. Get out there and make something. Bye, guys.